Carla Brown is a gifted laugh professional. She's been passionately sharing her playful and effervescent style of laughter and joy since 2009. Carla H. Brown has been supporting students, clients, and audiences worldwide to release stress and embrace health and aliveness through laughter yoga. From her 30-year background in natural health, women's empowerment, movement, and the healing arts, Carla H. Brown uses the transformative power of laughter yoga to integrate mind, body, and spirit, bringing instant stress relief and reclaiming creativity while with problems and having fun. Her motivation comes from the desire to teach people to live from a habituated place of joy in the body instead of the habit of fear that comes with our worry and rush culture. Welcome to the show, Carla.
We can talk or we can laugh.
So, what inspired you to study laughter yoga?
Oh, it was really a divine intervention. I'm a recovering serious person, recovering overthinker, and I was on a sort of a temporary hiatus in Texas after living in California, and I found myself in a situation where I watched my mental health going downhill, and so I just looked online for some way to laugh, and I actually found a blog talk radio program, and I did it for 10 minutes. It was all about laughter yoga. I finished, and my mind said that was the absolute most ridiculous thing I've ever done, and my body said, thank God. And my whole day changed from that 10 minutes. And so the power of my body wanting to feel better and my ability to really be present with my body's desires took me on a journey of going deeper into laughter yoga. And it took about 4 years before my mind could really turn off and surrender fully to a full laughter session. And now I've been practicing since 2009. And I'm a trainer, and I teach others, and I do all kinds of things with it. And it has really completely changed my life. It's healed my stress levels. It's healed anxiety, depression. It helps me through losses, very deep losses. It helps move the energy, helps me to connect to the energy of grief, then meet the energy of grief and move it through and transform it. It's helped me to breathe when I'm holding my breath because the pattern of anxiety lived in my body for so long. And every time I laugh, I'm breathing, right? So it's just been an empowering journey all the way. And really, when I'm laughing by myself with others or when I'm teaching a class, it's really like a download. It's something I came here to do. And no matter what I think about it, it'll just happen. So I'm so grateful.
I first heard about the healing qualities of laughter from Mom.
From who?
Mom.
Okay.
Chia, like the seed. Montauk Chia.
Yeah.
He's a Taoist who lives actually here in the Catskills and has a healing center. And he actually had a book out on, I don't know if he calls it healing yoga, and I know that that's your term, so I'm not going to use that. But recommendations were to, laugh for 1 minute before you go to sleep, and then laugh for 2 minutes before you go to sleep, and for 3 minutes. And this is harder than it sounds like, gang. Try it.
Oh, yes.
And then you were to bring your laughter to your internal organs. You were to laugh from your liver and laugh from your heart and laugh from your pancreas. It was really an amazing year of following his program, of bringing every part of my body into the laughter.
Yes. Yeah.
So that now my reputation is ruined because my roommates say that I laugh in my sleep all night long.
I've been told I snore like I'm laughing. It sounds like laughing. I get it.
Yep. We should be roommates. Then they won't have to worry. We'll laugh each other to sleep.
Exactly.
So I suspect that there are people out there who are kind of having the same mental difficulty that you did, going, get serious. How on earth could laughter be anything other than a joke?
Yeah. And I have an immense amount of compassion for that, because we have been trained that humor lives in our mind and that there is a decision that needs to be made about whether something is funny or not funny in order to have a physical sensation of laughter, right? And I feel like that's very limiting, and it's where we were, and I'm so glad we're progressing, because with the practice of laughter yoga, we are actually practicing unconditional laughter, meaning we're doing laughter exercises, we're engaging the diaphragm, and we're breathing, and we're playing, and we're, by laughing, we're stimulating our creativity. All of these things are in your book, I know. And so the point being that you can train your body in positive, upping, joyful ways, and even to laugh. The minute you start laughing, the body recognizes, oh, we're doing this now. And the thing I love about it is it's a mindfulness practice. So it instantly stops the mind, because you can't actually have a full belly, ridiculous laugh and also be thinking, because the body has to put so much energy into laughing. And so it's a really profoundly powerful way to stop the mind. And as a meditator for like 30 years, when I started my laughter practice, I was just really struck by how I was able to stop my mind so completely after like 30 minutes of a laughter class that I could go into a deep, relaxing meditation, because my body was like recovering, right? Because laughter in that way, when it's for sustained amounts of time, not only are you activating that diaphragm and jiggling into that parasympathetic nervous system and activating the vagus nerve, you're breathing and you're exercising, and your body just wants to rest after that. So it's this profound way to give yourself permission to stop thinking, because really, my experience being once a professional thinker is that my worry and my concern and even my fear about things that are going on in the world around me that I have zero control over are not going to do anything to benefit what's happening in the world, but they cause sometimes a crisis inside my system. Like your callers were talking about shingles and digestive issues. I've dealt with both of those in my body. And I feel like I was just, in the past, I was full of anxiety since I was a child, dealing with developmental trauma. Why unconsciously practice being afraid, being worried, being concerned? All of those things become habits in the body that the nervous system dutifully says, oh, yes, of course, we're going to feel afraid right now because this is happening. No, yes, we are going to be aware and we're going to be connected, and then we're going to leverage the power we have with the wisdom that we're already connected to, and that all of the different modalities we need to know to keep us in our center. And then we are going to be present. We're going to connect. We're going to correct. We're going to do what we need to do for ourselves to nourish, to tonify, to empower, to balance, so that we can take clear, focused action towards the things that matter to us. And that's why I love laughter, because I can go into a laughter session. I am certainly not feeling excited about a lot of the things going on in our country, on our planet. I definitely go into worry and fear, but my body knows the tonics, the way to move myself back into a joyful state, which nourishes and replenishes and restores, and then I can actually even take in the herbal tinctures and the tonics I'm drinking instead of, some part of me blocking and being so worried that I can't even absorb anything. I actually come into an open, receptive state. And so for those of you that are concerned about the practice of laughter and nothing is funny, I get it. And I want to say it's really okay to feel like that, because when you're not really feeling like anything is going on that's worth laughing about, you are engaging your mind in a very concerned, caring way at times. Other times it's a pure fear response. But just be aware that our body desires more than those chemicals running through it, and that there is a way to give yourself permission, just like a yoga class that you would go to and you would disengage the mind, just like anything that you would do to disengage the mind, going out into nature, meditation, chanting, any of those things. Give yourself permission to just laugh uncontrollably and watch what the body does. Because it is so wise, it will unlock that pharmacopoeia of endorphins and dopamine and serotonin, noradrenaline. All of these things start releasing in your body. It's just like, wow. All of a sudden you might get better sleep, right? Maybe your pain starts going away because those chemicals that get released block the pain receptor sites. Like, some of these things are in your book, Susan, and I love the way you talked about it. And just know, for everyone listening, laughter does not feel good to the mind that is worried and used to being afraid and concerned and overwhelmed and all of those things, because that fear can be a habit. All of those things can be a habit. And laughter can be a habit too. So the body's really neutral in the sense that it's not really judging, what we're doing. It will take on new habits and patterns. It's just the sense of, what new habits and patterns will I keep exploring and connect to until my body hardwires it? And so I'm just ecstatic about laughter because it's given me joy. I didn't know joy as a child. And now I actually know joy is real and it's authentic. And we all know that you can just smile and that can begin the flow of happy chemicals. But what if you're actually laughing and engaging the diaphragm and all of those feel-good endorphins start releasing, and you're just being silly and ridiculous and goofy, and all of a sudden you forget what the heck you were worrying about. It's just awesome.
People say to me, well, that's all well and good because obviously you are happy about things, but I'm so miserable I couldn't even begin to laugh. And I'm curious as to what you would have to say about my answer, which is what I say is, well, then just fake it.
Yeah, so, I just want to acknowledge that we're in a culture right now where people are wanting to learn how to be authentic and to be true to oneself. And just any time you get the mind involved with the body, there could be some issues, all right? So the body wants to feel good. It really does, right? Pain is a signal. Come on, I need some support over here, right? But the mind is going to say, well, faking it, that doesn't feel right to me, okay? So we start to dismantle the feeling, understanding, response. Like, okay, is that actually a feeling that's coming from a thought, or is that a feeling coming from the body? Because when you fake it, especially when you're in a group of people, when you're faking laughter, it becomes real and contagious. Like, just because, and especially around me, because I've been practicing it for so long, it comes out in all these different ways, and then I crack myself up. And when you give yourself permission, it's almost really like losing control. which a lot of us, including myself, don't always feel comfortable with, right? But when we just surrender into this flow of well-being by just going, even if you are faking a laugh, you're moving the diaphragm, you're making sounds, you're liberating stuck energy through sound and breath. And when you're doing it in a group, it feels phenomenal because many people in the group are already laughing, and you can give yourself permission to laugh. Now, I do want to say one thing. In my own experience, after laughing consciously, intentionally, multiple times a day, a week, all the time since 2009, in 2017, when my mom had a stroke and subsequently died, I was engaging in a 45-minute to hour-long laughter practice more than once a day to support myself, to support the energy moving through. And what happened was I uncovered sensations in my body that I'd never experienced before. And so as I laughed, it emptied my mind. It was like an internal exercise for my organs. And then I began to relax and notice how my body was feeling, which were sensations. There were strong sensations that I learned from talking with people and connecting with hospice were grief, were what grief felt like in my body. So many times, and so during that process, I had some interesting experiences, especially at the hospital when she was in the ICU and intubated and really didn't know if she was going to make it. I put my arms up in the air like I've done thousands of times, and my body knows, oh, if you plant a smile and put the arms up in the air, we're going to laugh. And in laughter yoga, we have an exercise called crying laughter. And I knew that I wanted to get the energy flowing so I could get my frontal lobe to turn on and start thinking clearly, because I was so emotional. I didn't know what to talk to about with the doctor. So I started doing the crying laughter. And eventually my body started laughing without crying anymore. And I started breathing more deeply. I regulated myself. I was able to talk to the doctor. And then over the time that she was dealing with the stroke until she passed, I began to do the crying laughter and then to elicit more tears. And what happened was my body just went straight to laughter because it was so trained. And so that's when I took a deeper dive into the grief. It's when I started studying grief yoga, and I began bringing the components of emotions associated with grief into the body, and I just began doing the dance between grief and joy, and grief and laughter, and movement and sound. And it was a profound process. And so the reason I wanted to touch on that, and also to say that when you are laughing, it's like this master liberator of energy. Like, the diaphragm, it's breathing us. It's so powerful. Like even when you sneeze, the power with which a sneeze comes out. And so laughter has the capacity to begin to release a lot of stagnant, stuck emotions in the body. So many times when people laugh, then they begin to feel tears coming up and they want to cry. And so that's why a lot of people keep themselves from laughing. So to go back to your original point, simulated or fake laughter is a powerful tool to bring us back into the body, to help liberate the diaphragm, to get us to start making sound. Like a lot of people won't even moan or wail if they're sad, or even cry out loud or sneeze out loud, And so we're tapping into the power that the body already has, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. So I teach my students, we're learning not only how to cultivate an inner terrain of joy and laughter, of levity and inner peace, but we are also learning how to be present with pain, shut down, and disconnect and numb ourselves out, but just be present. This precious body we live in, this temple, this is our home. It needs us. right? And so when we begin to connect to those places and just be present, then the emotion can move through. And oftentimes in my classes, we tend and befriend, with each other in our community. We befriend the grief and we bring laughter to it. We bring tears to it. And eventually the body's just like, oh, okay, I got some breath. I got some happy chemicals. I'm breathing again. I let that wave of grief move through. Okay, and I can feed myself or do whatever. So laughter, just faking it the thought faking it can feel uncomfortable to people, but the feeling, tone, experience in the body can be a profound gift.
Give it a try, especially if you don't feel like laughing. Just say, Carla H. Brown said it's okay to fake it, and so did Susun S. Weed.
Yes.
Carla, I
yes.
could talk to you for a really long time, but I want to be sure that people know how to get in touch with you because, we get cut off in the Blog Talk Show. So tell them how to get in touch with you and what kind of laughter can you do long distance? Do you do like Zoom laugh sessions?
Oh, yeah. So I have 3 different classes a week where we are, one of them specifically is just laughter yoga on Zoom. It's every Wednesday, 5:45 p.m. Pacific time, 8:45 Eastern time. And then I also have something called the Joy Reboot, which I started around October of 2020 because I realized everybody was getting really used to being worried, scared, overwhelmed, everything. So I just knew that we needed a Joy Reboot. And so the Joy Reboot is 30 minutes twice a week, and I take all the modalities of energy medicine I've studied and Qigong and laughter and grief yoga, and it's really like emotional hygiene is what it is. And it always ends with just empowering, affirming statements that we feel in the body, and we begin to pattern positive feeling movements and statements in our body so we can feel good. And all of that is listed on my website. My website is livingfromjoy.com. So it's FROM, livingfromjoy.com. And the reason for that name is that I spent most of my childhood into my late 30s living from fear. And after going through an autoimmune system experience called Guillain-Barré syndrome that left me paralyzed for 18 months, I got an acute experience of being in the body without being able to run away, eat it away, doing anything. And I learned what fear really feels like. And I began to befriend it and change the experience around. And so I know that fear can be in a very addictive way to live in the world, but, I also know that it doesn't feed us, it depletes us. So living from joy is a way to affirm in yourself and in your life, I'm having a fearful experience, but I am not of fear. I am of joy. I am of love. I am connection. I am peace. I am everything like that. I am wise. I am powerful. And I am experiencing a fearful experience that I do not need to take into my field. So I teach that in my classes, and I have a blast, and we have a fun time. It's always healing, transformative, silly, goofy, wonderful. We play. Yeah, we leave. I do a deep relaxation at the end, and we all leave feeling phenomenal. It's so much fun.
livingfromjoy.com.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for being with us to reweave the healing cloak of the ancients. And Sarah Ellen, thanks for helping me to restore herbal medicine to its rightful place as people's medicine. And thanks for once again being right there to help so much with another conference to end the fear. Herbal medicine is people's medicine. It's the medicine that's right outside your door. Carla H. Brown, Living from Joy. Let's end with a nice laugh.
Thank you.